democracy.
Boris, what are you doing here?
And it was because we got a proper Brexit, and you will all remember how hard that fight was. And my friends, whatever people may say, that national independence was vital.
Don't take the piss, Boris.
I show you now.
Then at the very moment when this country has beaten COVID, as a Labour government prepares to use a sledgehammer majority,
Fuck's sake.
Britain goes to the polls tomorrow, so by the day after, we will hopefully have a new government. Nothing is for granted, though. Everyone's been treating a massive Labour majority as if it's a total inevitability. But if we learn anything from history, it is that nothing is certain in politics. And people may just be resigned and think that their vote doesn't matter. So that may well cause a bit of a problem. So I would encourage anybody out there to go out and to vote not Tory. Just vote not Tory, because our system is screwed. And unless you cast a meaningful vote against whoever is most likely to not be the Conservative candidate in your area, your vote is very much going to be wasted and not to count for much of anything or have any influence whatsoever. Now, I'm not hugely enthusiastic about just voting against something. I would much rather vote for something, but these are the problems with the political system that we have. Here, I'm not going to be voting for Labour. I will be voting for the Liberal Democrats, but they're not going to win here. This is the safest of safe Tory seats, but they're the ones with the most chance, the slightest chance of dislodging the local Conservative leader. It's a weird situation, first past the post. We may end up with a record-breaking Labour majority despite having a relatively small overall share of the vote. And this is really only because Conservative voters have lost the faith, and many of them, particularly the low information voters, have gone to Reform, thereby splitting the right in the way that the left usually ends up split. But there is an opportunity here, however problematic our democratic system is, to deliver a proper shoeing to the Conservatives. And for all their faults, and Starmer's Labour is not left-wing enough for me, and I see problems down the line unless they're a lot more radical in office than they are in their prospectus for their forthcoming government. But they are offering some electoral reform, some constitutional reform, and at least the Labour Party, if not the Labour government, is pro a shift to proportional representation. So you've got to hold out hope for that. And most of the main organisations proposing tactical voting, like StopTheTories.vote, are also advocates for changing the electoral system. So maybe, if enough people tactically vote this time around, we can build some kind of impetus towards some meaningful electoral reform. Of course, the irony of that is that some of the worst people in British politics, such as the Reform Party, would then get more representation. That's difficult to get your head around and to accept, but government should be representative. Parliament should be representative of what people actually want. And currently, it isn't. So even if it means letting a couple of oily, odious fascists in through the gate, it's better that politics be properly representative. Because left-wing and progressive people outnumber right-wing and regressive people. So if you get Nigel Farage sniping from the back benches, it's a small price to pay for a better democracy. But please, if you care about old people, if you care about poor people, if you have anyone who is disabled in your extended family who you care about at all, just don't vote Tory. Left-wing policies work. And while we're not going to get enough of them out of Labour, it'll be more than none. And the country cannot take any more right-wing economics. Zang.